I'm not dating coach or a player. I don't sell courses or wear leather jackets and call myself an alpha male. I'm just a normal guy who was tired of feeling confused when it came to dating. So, I did something kind of crazy. I made a personal challenge to myself. I was going to go on 100 dates, and on every single one, I'd ask this same question. What do you actually want in a man? Not in a manipulative way, not to try and become whatever the answer was. I wasn't trying to win. I just genuinely wanted to learn. These weren't hookups or flings, they were actual dates. Coffee shops, long walks, dinners, awkward FaceTime calls during lockdown. Some went great, some were boring, and a few were, well, let's just say, stories for another time. But every time, I showed up curious. And over time, something started to take shape. A pattern that shocked me, not because it was complicated, but because it was so simple. But before I tell you what that one thing was that almost every single woman wanted, I need to tell you what it wasn't. When I started this, I made a lot of assumptions, like, a lot. I figured women wanted what most guys think they want. Good looks, money, great sex, confidence, status, some kind of edge. So I went into it expecting to hear stuff like, I want a guy who's tall, makes six figures, and has a jawline sharp enough to cut glass. But that's not what I heard. In fact, I was surprised by how quickly those assumptions were dismantled. When I asked about looks, some women said physical attraction mattered, of course, but almost none of them said it was the top thing. One woman told me, if he's kind, smells good, and takes care of himself, he's attractive to me. Six-pack abs aren't doing anything for me if the guy's emotionally unavailable. Another woman, who's a successful graphic designer, laughed when I asked about income. I pay my rent. I just want to know he's not financially reckless, she said. It's not about how much, it's about how he handles what he has. Then I asked a 33-year-old woman about how important sex was, and she said, if the guy is generous and emotionally present, the physical stuff usually works itself out. If he's selfish in conversation, you already know what the bedroom's going to be like. So I was back at square one. Then I thought, maybe it's confidence or humor. I mean, who doesn't love someone funny and self-assured? And yes, those came up often. But even then, it was rarely the core thing. One woman told me, confident is great, but a guy who's too performative starts to feel like a used car salesman. Another said, somewhere around date 97, it hit me. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And by date 100, I knew for sure. Predictability, not in the sense of being boring or stuck in a routine. I'm talking about emotional predictability, reliability, steadiness, being who you say you are, doing what you say you'll do. Women didn't use that exact word all the time. Some called it consistency. Some said dependability. Others said stability is sexy. But the underlying need, it was the same. I want to know where I stand with him. I don't want to guess how he feels or whether he'll text me back. I'm tired of hot and cold guys. Just be normal and present. That was the repeated theme. They wanted someone who they could emotionally count on. Not someone who would text them 15 times in one day, then disappear for 3. Not someone who's charming on the first date, then distant the moment things get a little real. And definitely not someone who keeps them in emotional limbo with vague statements like, I'm just seeing where life takes me. Here's why this actually makes perfect sense. Biologically, women are wired to seek safety and emotional security in relationships. It's hard-coded from millions of years of evolution. It was about survival then, and it's still about safety now. And here's the cool part. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her brain releases oxytocin, the hormone linked to trust, connection, and bonding. That doesn't happen when she's wondering if you're going to ghost her, or if you're going to freak out during a hard conversation, or if you're going to vanish for a week and then pop back up like nothing happened. In today's dating culture, flakiness is the default. Mixed signals are common. Ghosting is normal, which means when a woman meets a guy who's steady, clear, and consistent, she immediately feels safer with him. Predictability doesn't mean being bland. It means being a man whose actions match his words. You can be spontaneous. You can have fun. But if your character is all over the place, nothing else matters. You could be rich, attractive, funny, and talented. But if she doesn't know which version of you she's going to get tomorrow, that's exhausting. And she's not going to stick around long. So the big question is, how do you actually become that guy? The one who's consistent without being controlling, predictable without being dull. Here are 3 things I learned the hard way that really help. First, the 24-hour rule. Respond within a day. That's it. Don't play the game of I'll wait 3 hours because she took 3 hours. Just respond when you can, but always within 24 hours. If you're genuinely interested in her, act like it. You'd be amazed how many women said something like, "He seemed really into me, and then he disappeared for a week." And look, I get it. Life gets busy, but if you're not consistent in the simple stuff like texting, how can she trust you with the deeper stuff? Second, calendar over compliments. Words are easy. Planning takes effort. Instead of saying, "We should hang out sometime," take 5 seconds and suggest something real. "Hey, are you free Saturday? There's this new spot I've been wanting to try." That alone, making a plan, builds more trust than a dozen clever compliments. Because now she knows you're intentional. One woman told me, "I don't need romance. I just want to know there's a plan." Flaky dudes are exhausting. Third, the no panic test. This is a big one. If she gets emotional, overwhelmed, or upset, don't freak out. Don't shut down. Don't try to fix her feelings. Just hold steady. Listen. Be present. Don't get defensive. One of the most attractive traits in a man is emotional regulation, the ability to stay calm in the face of discomfort. It's how women figure out if they can trust you long term. One woman told me, "When a guy panics or gets angry when I cry, it tells me I can't be vulnerable with him." So next time she's not at her best, don't run. Stay calm. That's when trust is built. So here's the truth. You don't need a six-pack. You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't need to memorize clever one-liners or be the funniest guy in the room. You just need to show up consistently. Be emotionally steady. Do what you say you'll do. Be the guy who doesn't make her guess. That's the man she invests in. Not because he's flashy, but because he's safe. And I don't mean safe like boring. I mean safe like solid, like real, like trustworthy. The world is full of chaos. Women are tired of emotional whiplash. If you can be her calm in the storm, she'll see you as more than just a date. So guys, if you're serious about leveling up in relationships, forget the gimmicks. Forget the games. Become predictable. And watch what happens.